Next, we'll go to the gentleman from South Carolina. Mr. Wilson, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and colleagues. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to speak before you today. I would like to first thank Chairman Tom Price for his leadership of this committee. These are difficult economic times, and I appreciate the dedicated efforts of the chairman and members of the committee. I represent the 2nd District of South Carolina, which includes the Army's training base at Fort Jackson in Columbia, where we welcome recruits from Virginia and from Michigan. I also represent the Department of Energy's Savannah River site in Aiken and Barnwell. Both of these installations are national assets that provide unique, one-of-a-kind services to our country. Fort Jackson is the largest and most active initial entry training center in the U.S. Army, training 34% of all soldiers and 69% of women entering the Army each year. That means that training in excess of 45,000 basic recruits and advanced individual training soldiers every year. Fort Jackson is now beginning to feel the effects of defense sequestration. The base recently lost the recruiting and retention school when it was moved to Fort Knox, Kentucky, because significant Army downsizing created excess infrastructure at Fort Knox. The loss of the recruiting and retention school separates recruiting from the complementary mission of training. The active duty Army, Army National Guard, and Army Reserve are all expected to downsize significantly due to defense sequestration. The Army has to reduce personnel in order to alleviate the fiscal burden. Training installations like Fort Jackson are going to suffer significantly during this downsizing as the base sees fewer recruits entering the service and going through initial entry training at a time when threats are spreading to American families. Also, the permanent party assigned to Fort Jackson, which includes uniformed personnel as well as civilians, will be reduced as the number of recruits is reduced. The current projection, based upon the Army's programmatic environmental assessment, is that Fort Jackson's permanent party footprint could be reduced by 3,100 personnel. This represents a significant impact to Fort Jackson as it promotes its missions of training. About an hour southwest of Columbia lies the Department of Energy's Savannah River site. This site is a national asset which disposes of weapons-grade nuclear materials, conducts cutting-edge research, and supports our country's nuclear weapons missions and nonproliferation programs. The President's budget proposed much-needed funding for the mixed oxide fuel fabrication facility, MOX, currently under construction at SRS. This facility is our country's only means to honor the U.S.-Russia plutonium disposition agreement. Without this facility, we will default on our nonproliferation agreement with Russia to dispose of 34 metric tons of weapons-grade plutonium and the material that could be reprocessed into green fuel for reactors. In addition to MOX, Savannah River site is home to a host of other Department of Energy environmental cleanup projects. H-Cannon provides our country with the ability to process highly radioactive material, while the tank farms, defense waste processing facility, and salt waste processing facility all play vital roles in safely disposing of the material. Finally, the site is home to the Savannah River National Laboratory, SRNL. This plays a vital role in supporting several initiatives which range from site activities to our intelligence community. In addition, all of the FBI's forensic agents are trained at SRNL. Your committee has been extremely difficult choices to make, and as you begin the fiscal year 2016 budgetary process, I ask that you fully consider the critical national security missions being carried out at Fort Jackson as well as the Savannah River site. The individuals at both installations are dedicated to serving their country and putting the national interest of the United States before themselves. Please continue the tools they need to get the job done and to keep us safe here at home. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify today. I hope you're able to consider the important national security mission in the South Carolina 2nd Congressional District as you debate further funding for the fiscal year. I yield the balance of my time.